All right, guys. What I want to go through and do now is kind of talk about what the next part of the notes are going to be for this section. I know we looked at the first part on Monday, but I want to take some time here on this e-learning day to work through what the next part is. Okay. Now you've seen on your big ideas a little bit of what we're going to be trying to work through. Okay, but I just want to go through some example problems to make sure that we are good. Um, so really, what we're trying to do is take when we have a fractional exponent and being able to rewrite it and look to evaluate. Remember, we talked when we see the word evaluate, we want to have a numbered answer. Okay, so you're going to see something. It's in this kind of general form. It's going to be a to the m over n. Okay, now what we will do is we'll take whatever the base is, a, and then rewrite it to the 1 over n. Okay, so that denominator of the fraction is really going to be our key. That'll be more like some of the stuff that we did on Monday that'll help us go through and try to solve. So what we'll be able to do is simplify what's inside the parenthesis and then raise it to that exponent. Okay, so essentially we'll take the nth root of it to the m power. Now what it'll look like from a number standpoint, for example, we would have something like 27 to the 2/3. Well, really what that's saying is it's 27 to the 1/3, or it's the cubed root of 27. Well, we know that the cubed root of 27 is going to be 3, so we would take 3 squared and we would get an answer of 9. Okay, and again, guys, our goal is to try to be able to do all of this without a calculator. So I've got 8 problems on here. Kind of walk through. I'll probably be quicker as we get through just because hopefully we feel pretty comfortable as we're working through. Okay, so our first one, you'll see we've got 16 to the 3/4. Now, the first thing that I want us to do is we're going to rewrite it. So we'll take the denominator, which is 4. That'll be our new fraction here. So it's going to be 16 to the 1/4. So like we talked about, we want to go through and try to factor it out, looking for a number 4 times. Well, 16 breaks down to 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. You see I got 4 2's, so really 16 to the 1/4 is going to be 2. Now what that'll leave us with is 2 to the 3rd for a final answer there of 8. Okay, so again, we want to rewrite it so it has essentially the power to a power, simplify inside the parentheses, and then multiply our exponent. Okay, and that's what our process is going to be for all of the ones that we have left, and then the remaining ones on your big ideas. Now, same thing here on this next one. I got 27 to the 4/3. Well, go ahead and rewrite it using the denominator, 27 to the 1/3. Well, factoring that out, 3 and 9, 3 and 3. I've got 3 3's there. So my 1/3 is going to turn it into a 3 right here, raising 3 to the 4th. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. We're left with 81. Now, the last two, a little bit more unique. Okay, I've got a negative 64. Now, we'll still go ahead and rewrite it with the negative there. So it'll be negative 64 to the 1/3. Okay, so we want to go through and factor. And we've talked a little bit, I know there was some questions, but basically if it's a negative, we want to factor out the negative. So what I did negative 4 and 16, and then I did negative 4 and negative 4. Now, I know technically I could go farther than that, but what I'd work to is negative 2 and positive 2 for all of those, which is going to be negative 4 either way. Okay, now what that leaves me with is a negative 4 squared. Now, on this, we should always have a positive final answer if it's something to an even power. So negative 4 times negative 4, we get 16. Okay, now, this fourth one here, I got 9 to the 5/2. Well, really, with that 2 on the bottom, it's going to be 9 to the 1/2. And we talked on Monday, if anything is ever to the 1/2, it's just a square root problem. So for us, it's the square root of 9, which is 3. 3 to the 5th is going to leave us with 243. Okay, so, and again, these 4 on the bottom, still the same concept. We want to use our denominator of the fraction to simplify and then multiply the exponent through. So I got 256 now to the 1/4. Factoring out, we would get 4 to the 3rd. It's going to leave us with 64. Okay, 243, we got to the 2/5 power. We're going to use a 1/5. Factoring that out, we're going to be left with a 3. Okay, so that's going to be 3 squared is 9 there. Okay, now again, we see that square root. I got 16 to the 1/2. We know what the square root of 16 is 4. So we'll go ahead and raise 4 to the 3rd power, which is going to give us then our 64. Okay, and then finally, we've got one more negative. I got negative 32 to the 7/5. So we're going to write that as a negative 32 to the 1/5. Okay, and again, because it's negative and it's odd, like we saw up here, we're going to have a negative answer. So that's negative 2. Now you'll see on this one, my final answer is negative, because if we take a negative to an odd exponent right there, then we're going to have a negative answer. Up here, we had a negative to an even exponent, so we're going to have a positive exponent, or a positive answer, excuse me. So keep working through your big ideas. Next time we're in class together, we'll be able to go through and review a little bit more of this.